some of you that know me, I'm JD. Those of you who don't, I'm JD. So Music Industry Mondays, every week we go through something a little bit different. Last week we had Kwame Kwarson, which was amazing. For those of you who are here and those of you who played your tracks, you are legends. Thank you so much for being brave enough to do that. I get it, it's pretty scary. And then the last couple of weeks we've had Apple Music, we've had a few things. So I did one session for you on Apple Music, how I use Apple Music as an artist manager. And then I had a chat with quite a few people in the room who said, JD, this was great, but what about distribution? And then I've had a few chats with people since. They're like, okay, well, what would you say? So we all want to get to the open mic. We want to see people perform. So I'm going to give you my tips as an artist manager on distribution for independent musicians. Okay? We're going to fire through it. You can ask any questions you want. I'm probably going to slate a few different people as well, as usual. Okay? So this is how I would distribute my music or my client's music as a manager in 2023. Those of you just come in, just grab a seat, grab a seat. Wow, there's people right at the back. Hey, guys, they're like hanging at the door. All right, so get your notes ready. Here we go. Big news. The first thing I would say to you, this is the most key thing, actually there's loads of key things, is please get yourselves organized. Please organize yourselves with what you're doing when it comes to releasing your music. So the first thing I'd see is, have you signed split sheets with your songwriters and your collaborators? I just heard some murmurings of like, who knows about split sheets? A few of you. Who's signed a split sheet with their co-writers? Okay, you guys aren't getting sued. That's a good start. So definitely agree your split sheets. Have you agreed with your producer? Have you got a deal in place with your producer? Have you paid them? Have you got them sorted? And then have you got a list of credits? Have you got your label copy together? Everyone familiar with the word metadata? You heard that? Okay, so metadata is how you get paid in music, which means you've got to fill in all the right information to the people you're working with. If you haven't done that and you fill it in wrong or you don't fill it in at all because you never got it in the first place, you're unlikely to get people paid. Or worse, if you don't get paid and you're supposed to pay your collaborators, say they're on a royalty split, if you ain't filled in the metadata right, no one's getting paid, then they're going to hound you. This is a good one here. Have you thought about what additional services you might need as well? So this is way before you've even put the track online, whatever. Have you thought about all of this? I'd say to you, as someone that works with artists and works with developing artists a lot, if you haven't thought about any of this stuff, go back to the start and do it. Yeah? Go back to, because if you fall over yourself down the line, it's probably because you haven't done that. And then, yeah, not so great. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you've got to plan your campaign. And I would always say to you, you need to plan for more than one single to build momentum properly. So you could put out one track. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you just have one single and that's it, there's nothing else going to come from that. And so I would say think in 6 months. You could release 6 singles in 6 months. You could do 1 a month. You could do 4 in 6 months, so like 1 every 6 weeks, for example. So if you want support from the stores, from the DSPs, if they don't know where you're going, they can't support you. Yeah? They need like a roadmap of where you're headed. And then to help you think about that, work backwards. Is there something seasonal coming up? Are you going to release the next #1 Christmas single? Yeah? Who wants to do a Christmas single this year? Really? Of course, good. Okay, amazing. Right. So we're backing you for Christmas single. Have you got any festivals? Are you going on tour? Are you thinking about playing live? You need to sort of work back from that and then go forwards. And then the final thing, you're planning your campaign. What are you doing to reach your fans? Hopefully you figured out who your fans actually are. But then once you've sort of figured out who they might be, how are you actually going to get to them? So you got to think about that. So what I'm being really nice, I'm going to share one of my management company's resources with you. So if you scan that, this will get you my wonderful, amazing template for campaign planning, which is probably going to look much worse than you think. That should open a Google sheet, correct? Yeah? Yeah? Someone give me yes, otherwise if you need one QR code. Amazing. Everyone got it? Quick. Time's running out. Okay. I'm bored. So this is my sort of campaign template that I have used. I actually stole it from a record label. Now, it doesn't look very exciting, okay, at this point. But as you can see, you've got the date, you've got your campaign in blue here, so that column. So what is that? Where's that going? You've got the time of your post, you've got the asset, the link of where it might be. You might have it on Dropbox, you might have it somewhere, Google Drive. What's the topic? And I'd say topic, you could say trend. Is there a trending thing on TikTok that you want to jump on? Are you going to do a post around that? What's your copy? What's your hashtags? Good hashtag practice, okay? TikTok, recommend no more than 3. Instagram, you can have quite a few more. And Facebook, okay? Any notes? Are you working with any other partners, any other additional services that need to know what you're doing? Have you posted it? This can be an entire campaign plan. This doesn't have to just be social media. This could be pretty much anything and everything. So I dissected poor old Peter Sandberg's Apple Music last time. For his campaign in 2021, we planned every single activation and post from May 2021 to January 2022. Every single post. Now, that's a bit far, but you can do the same, and it makes a lot of sense. Within that Google Sheet, there's also a whole tab of ideas of stuff you could post as well. So that will get you started. So plan your campaign, what you're going to do. It's not just social media, because I say it could be, you might have a brand partnership coming up. You might have a key live performance. You might have a whole run of dates that you can block into this calendar, and you plan the whole thing. Yeah? Cool. All right. So everyone got that QR. Anyone who didn't, you can come find me later. How many days on the calendar? However many you want there to be. Yeah. It will you could just keep adding forever. Might take you a while, but you can keep going. Okay, so my third thing, think about promo. And I mean, actually really think about it. Like, really think. Like, don't just be like, oh yeah, my single's come out. I'm going to put out my single and I'm going to put out my next one. And you might even do the campaign bit, but you haven't really planned it. Actually think about your promotional activity. So I keep saying it, where are your fans? So who are your fans? But where are they? Are they on a particular channel? Are they in a particular geographic area? Are they not even active online because they don't do online because they think it's a bit crass and a bit too middle of the road? If you are doing social, what are you doing? Are there trends you can jump on? Are there key things that are happening? For example, with Peter, TikTok have come to us and said on the 28th of March, we're doing Piano Day. Hashtag piano is going to be trending. Can you pitch us something for it? So, can you pitch anything for a certain time day? What trends are relevant to you and your music? So I've given the piano example, but there's tons of different styles in this room. It could be anything. And then services to think about, yeah? Radio. How are you getting your stuff on radio? Do you want to get your stuff on radio? I'm guessing most people probably do. How are you going to get there? So everyone's familiar with BBC Introducing in the UK? Yeah? Okay. So BBC Introducing are a fantastic resource. They're the sort of way into the BBC matrix. And if your track is doing well on the local introducing, it's arranged by region, they can sort of uplift you all the way through to Radio 1. And once you get into Radio 1, you pick up that, then that's another story. PR. Everyone aware of what PR is? Public relations or whatever. Just PR. Now, a PR can cost you quite a lot of money, at least, £500, £600 a single. Not everyone has that. Most people don't really have £500 lying around in the middle of a cost of living crisis. But there are some really good cheap tools you can use. So Submit Hub is great. I definitely recommend that. Groover, which is like a European version of Submit Hub. Muso Soup is also a bit similar. But Submit Hub and Groover are absolutely brilliant. And they're really good at sort of getting your stuff onto blogs. You just basically fill in the details and you submit it. Okay, all good? I know we still haven't got to distribution yet, but we are getting there, I promise. So you've got to do all this pre-work, basically. Like a pre-wash on your dishwasher. Really boring, but you've got to do it. So my next point is you've got to pick the right distributor for your circumstances. Who's distributed music before, or tried, or thinking about it? Yeah, okay, a few. There's two different ways this sort of works, yeah? And you can either pay upfront and keep 100% of all your royalties, or you don't pay upfront and you give a percentage back to the aggregator, back to the distributor. So you sort of got to weigh up, as artists, as managers, as cool people, what way round you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to run through the ones I would recommend to you. And you can pick your own, but these are the ones I recommend, and I'll very quickly talk about each one. I don't want you to read this, it's a bit boring, but I'm going to go through each one really fast. Most of these I've worked with or tried stuff with in various different formats. Okay, so there's sort of my personal recommendations. So these are your pay upfronts. Ditto is great. It's based in Liverpool and it's fantastic. They're really good. You pay a sort of yearly subscription fee based on the size of your product you're releasing. So if that's a single, it might be $7.99 for the year. If it's an album, it's going to be more, and then that will renew. If you don't pay the renewal fee, it doesn't exist anymore. It will come down. Okay. TuneCore are great. They're also linked into Believe. So Believe, which is a big label system thing. If you do well on TuneCore, you can be upstreamed. But again, you pay up front. 3Tone, a really cool new British one based in Bristol. And they are all pay up fronts. They have various different things. And then SoundCloud. How many people are aware SoundCloud is actually a distributor? People aware of that? Yeah, okay. SoundCloud are a really cool one. Again, they have different tiers. These two, SoundCloud and 3Tone, have different tiers of service. So you can pay more and get more back. Okay? In theory. But SoundCloud's great. They're really linked into a whole ecosystem. 3Tone are much more bespoke. And they have pay tiers all the way up. So you pay these, your money up front, you get 100% of the revenue that comes back. Okay? Make sense? So these are my four picks. Everyone that's not on this, they're going to hate me. All right. Next one. Now this is the emoji for a reason. Both of these two claim that you don't pay anything and you get everything. Whether that's exactly right is a bit wishy-washy, but at least to begin with, that's true. So SoundOn is TikTok's distro service. Okay, so that means you get direct distribution to TikTok and quite a lot of other places. They distribute to everyone. Anyone here used SoundOn before? Okay, interesting. So they're big recommendation. Quite a lot of artists I know. One that I used to work with, she put some music out through SoundOn, did really well on TikTok. I think she got 11 New Music Fridays, and she's an independent artist. She only has a couple of thousand followers. Her product was really cool, but the distribution definitely helped. Amuse are Swedish, and they're very Scandinavian. Again, it's the 100% rule. But Amuse originally had Lil Nas X's Old Town Road. They had it first. Lil Nas X uploaded it to Amuse, and then they didn't lose it, but then, do you know what I mean? Anyway, you can take from that what you want. But these two are both great. But I don't understand exactly how the 100% system works. Okay. Everyone know what A&R means? Yeah? A&R, person at record label. So these two are my A&R picks. And the reason I say A&R is that you can't just upload. You have to sort of pitch yourself. Okay? So AWOL, some people familiar with AWOL? Anyone ever distribute on AWOL before? No? Okay. So they're now actually part of Sony. They got bought out by Sony about a year and a bit ago. They're, again, a Swedish original company. They're really good. STEM are like super techie. but they're, again, really fantastic. They're like the forefront of how royalties move, and they claim to have a better system than everyone else, but they are really, really good. They're a bit more of a label services independent thing, but it's a bit more high tech, but it's cool. So if you're thinking you might be a little bit further down the line, then these two could be great. Of course, you can play the system, as in you're not tied to one distributor forever. So you can start somewhere, put your music out, let it get bubbling, you do all the campaign plan, you use my really cool sheet, and then eventually it's all blown up, so you move to AWOL. Now, what these two will do is if you're doing well, they will draw down additional marketing support for you. So that means if you're doing all right, they can give you that extra lift. But you need to be cooking first before you move along. Get me? Yeah? Okay, so then my final thing, oh my, under 20 minutes, this is outstanding. My final thing, pitch your music if you can. If you don't pitch it, it's unlikely the editors will listen to it. Who's used Spotify for Artists before? Good. So Spotify for Artists is Spotify's back-end pitch system. All the other DSPs are a bit walled off. You can't really pitch directly. With Spotify for Artists, you get to select a track. So I've got a client's track coming out here, comes out on March 22nd. I can click that. I can go through that system, and then I can even, once I go through that, I choose my instruments, choose my moods, choose my song styles. I can then go and fill in some more info, write myself a little bit of a pitch, about 150 words, and it goes straight to Spotify. That's basically it. For Apple, for Deezer, for other people, it's hard to pitch. You need to have what's called trade marketing at your distributor, i.e. a marketing department that goes and pitches on your behalf. But Spotify let you go in. Okay? So my final takeaways with a takeaway box. I'm hungry now. Get organized. Plan what you're going to do. Plan what you're going to do on socials. Plan your promo activity, or think, am I going to do any promo activity at all? Then distribute, and then pitch. Now, if you get to here and you're ready to distribute, but you ain't thought about any of this, it's like snakes and ladders. You've got to go back to the start again. Otherwise, it won't really work for you. Now, I can't guarantee that everyone's going to be hugely successful, but I would say if you follow the steps properly, you will give yourself a much better chance of success. And each time you do it and you keep improving, it can only get better. Yeah? So that's what I would say. I can say that hand on heart because I've seen it work for my clients. We try something once before, doesn't work. We plan something much better. You plan way in advance. The stores know what's going to happen. They can get behind you. They can support you. It's much better. Okay? Right. So that was I whizzed through that. I'm happy to answer any questions on anything to do with distribution or why I would or wouldn't recommend various platforms. I'm slated a distributor that was not on here the other week, if anyone remembers that. Yeah.
At what stage in his career would you recommend
looking at PR? It's a really good question. What stage? I think you need to have pickup. I think you need to have pickup already. So when I say about pickup, that means you've got a healthy number of streams on a platform. You've probably got into the BBC introducing ecosystem. You might have got some plays already. Or you might be out there on the road. You might be making appearances. You might be playing gigs. You might be playing shows. Anything before that, it becomes a real roll of the dice when is that really going to generate you enough return? Because I've seen artists, no offense to anyone here, artists that aren't as informed and too early, blow like $3,000 on a PR budget, if not more. And they got some press, but then what happened? They didn't get any support from anywhere else because they hadn't done all the other steps. No one has $3,000 lying around. I mean, if you do, the bar's there, we'll all go and get it for a drink. But yeah, good question. Any others? Yeah.
DistroKid is one of the most common
Don't see it there. You also don't see CD baby, but not on there. DistroKid on there. I wouldn't recommend them to you. I would say that there are better options out there that might not be as well known, that are more adapted for today's modern music marketplace, and they're better suited. DistroKid's potentially a bit much of a mass farm. You've got to also think stuff does go wrong. So I've been working with 3Tone this week. There's another client in the back who's also done the same. 3Tone is absolutely fantastic. They launched a new platform. It sort of broke for a couple of days. But their team, immediately on the phone, immediately on emails, doing everything. They're actually taking if you're on the top tier, the label services tier, they're taking your music and they're doing it for you. I never seen that with DistroKid when stuff goes wrong. I think it's just like using a digital bank. Like, it might be super trendy to be on, I don't know, Tide, but when something goes wrong and you can't call anyone and your money's gone to the wrong place, at least I know that the customer services departments, all of these are really on point. And I think people are asking questions. Something might go wrong. You might put in the wrong song name. You might put in the wrong thing. Like, I've definitely made mistakes like that because I got too much to do and I've just typed something wrong. At least I know someone's going to get back to me. So I think customer service as well is actually quite important. But in general, I don't know if I'd say that they're as good as. Sorry, DistroKid. This is so being recorded by multiple cameras. Yeah.
So if we want to change a distributor and we want to transfer to another one, can we keep the music in the platform? Because as you said, like, when you stop paying, the music goes away from Spotify and stuff like that.
It could do. It's a really good question. I think everyone will move distributor in this room. That's what I bet. I've certainly done it a few times. What you can do is take your music with the platform it's on and move it to a different distributor. Is that what you mean, or potentially a solution?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if I want to change, let's say, from DistroKid to Deezer, can I do it without having to remove my music?
Yes. Yes. So what you would do, everyone ready for this? Because this is complicated. So you want to move from DistroKid to Ditto. On DistroKid's dashboard, which is really bad to use, you'll have all the metadata. Remember I said about metadata for your tracks. When you go to Ditto, you need to upload the same file, the exact same music file, and then the same metadata, the same song length, the same ISRC code. Everyone heard of an ISRC code? Oh yeah, you're all nodding there, legends. Okay, you got to put in that same stuff there. You then press upload on Ditto and it will upload it, and you'll end up eventually on Spotify with 2 versions. But the play counts have carried. You get me? Then you can go back to your old distributor and request them to take it down, finish your term with them or whatever. Now, if you were to upload the track new again on your new distributor, but you didn't copy the metadata, you didn't copy the song length, you didn't copy the ISRC code, what do you think is going to happen? The play counts won't transfer. You'll have 2 versions, or actually you'll have not 2 versions. You'll have a different, yeah? Answer your question? I didn't want to get into that because it's really complicated. And also, but it's a good question. Does that make sense to everyone? Please don't get it wrong. If you think it's complicated, come and speak to me or find someone that will help you. Don't ask DistroKid. Okay, next question. Any more? No question's a bad question. I'm going to go to you. Come back to you. Do you want the nice answer or the brutal answer? Everyone want the brutal answer or the nice answer? Both. Okay. The nice answer is do whatever you like because it's your career. The more to the point answer is, unless you've got momentum like this guy's at the front talking about, where you've got PR and stuff going on like that, no one should release an album or an EP. Keep doing singles. Yeah? Space them out nicely. Yeah? Keep doing them. And when there is not hype, but buzz, momentum around your project, that is when you go, okay, now I'm going to do an EP. You only have one chance to do your debut single and you only have one chance to do your debut EP. You don't get another chance, even if you rebrand yourself. So set it up in a way that you think works for you. Does that answer? Sorry if it was brutal. Your question?
When you're planning your campaign, so from the beginning, you started with ads, so you're looking to start running.
Okay, one of the things we're going to do is we are going to look at ads. We're going to have someone come in and go over that, but probably not until May because we've got quite a few others to get through until that point. So my same point stands. Ads is a better return on money because at least you know where your money is going to, as opposed to paying a PR agent and then maybe the press take it and maybe they don't and maybe you paid a lot of money and you actually don't see anything. At least if you spend your money on ads and you go into the ad platform, if your ad's not working, at least you know you ain't been fobbed off. Right? So I would say, I would advise you to spend or look at spending ads on ads or boosts earlier on. Maybe once you've had a few tracks get going, or maybe from the start, because at least you can get a lot out of 50 quid run over 2 months on Google Ads. You can get a hell of a lot. You can maybe pick up on a pre-roll campaign, a reasonable number of followers, definitely a lot of comments, and probably 20 to 30,000 views if you get it right. That good? This guy's making notes. He's going to be so sorted. Any more questions? No question's a bad question. Yeah, man. Ooh. You know when you've got buzz when your plays are naturally getting organic and people are talking about you and you go somewhere else and someone already knows, someone's been talking about you elsewhere. So if I'm a manager and I go into a record label, they know what my meeting's going to be about. Hype is different. Hype is when all your friends are telling you you're amazing, you're going to make it. Everyone's blah, 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 but it doesn't last. It just goes. You don't want hype in this business. You want buzz, consistent buzz, organic growth. Now, it doesn't matter if you pay for a bit of PR and you pay for a bit of this, everyone spends. That's what a record label is there for. But if you have hype, you end up like one of these like mountain ranges. Not good. You want to be a nice, nice and just keep it going. Cool. Okay, any more? No, cool. All right, well, I hope that was useful. As always, these are on YouTube, so you can go back and watch any of the Music Industry Mondays of the 34 we've had so far now. We've got tons more coming as well, so I'm going to jump out of this. I just want to very quickly show you, if my laptop doesn't die, I just want to show you this. So, coming up on our lovely Music Industry Mondays, this is what's coming up in the next few weeks. So we've done this one today, this one's done. Everyone's favourite Kwame Kwarton is going to be back next Monday with his band The Influence. It's been 25 years of acid jazz. Then we have one of the biggest guests for Music Industry Mondays ever. We'll be doing a playback session like we did with Kwame. Nick Raphael, some of you might know who this is. He was the ex-president of Capitol Records. He signed Sam Smith. He signed Jay-Z with Christian Tattersfield. And who else? 5 Seconds of Summer. I mean, the guy has got so many platinum discs, it's disgusting. He's going to be here with me. We're going to be sitting listening to all your music again. That is on the 20th of March. And then Chopin Sultan, he's a fantastic music journalist. He writes for Dazed. He writes for Grammys.com. He's going to be one of our guest hosts, and he's going to be dissecting issues that are important to him and his community. And that is on the 3rd of April. This guy is Chopin. He's going to be he's a rising star. So you want to be there to meet him. I think he might even just come because he wants to see The Influence. But yeah, these next three, 13th, 20th, the 3rd, the 27th, there is no Music Industry Mondays because we're having the PA system redone. So yeah, definitely be there for these three. I'm going to leave this up for a bit. But yeah, cool. All right, well, it's open mic time. Any questions about distribution, I'll be sticking around for a minute. But thank you very much. Have a great evening. Cheers.